She was just an ordinary woman who transmigrated into a novel. Specifically, the vicious supporting actress. She originally thought all she had to do was follow the script and bully the heroine by routine. And maybe act as the male lead's pathetic simp. But unexpectedly, the so-called tool-person heroine didn't follow the plot at all. And the male lead could even hear her inner thoughts. And she had absolutely no idea. Smack. A sharp slap cracked through the set, stunning everyone. Shuri was struck hard, her head whipped to the side and faint tears glimmered in her eyes. Right after Shuri finished her first line, Ching Yiching suddenly pulled a pitiful face, turned to the director and said, "Director, the angle wasn't right just now, let's shoot another take." The director frowned and called, "Cut." The previously silent set instantly turned busy. "Makeup artist, touch up here. Shuri, are you all right?" Jiangya asked cautiously. "Sister Ching, do you have some kind of feud with Shuri?" Ching Yiching shot her a careless glance. No. Jiangya, her timid yet talkative assistant, frowned and muttered, "Then why do you keep targeting her? There are so many people around that if the paparazzi catch this, your reputation will take a hit, and it's already pretty bad." Ching Yiching pouted that she's the heroine. "Targeting her is literally my mission." Beep beep beep. Warning. The system's robotic voice chimed, "Host, please follow the agreement and speak cautiously." Before she could finish her thought, the system interrupted again, leaving her feeling that life was simply unlivable. Her thoughts drifted back to 3 days earlier, when she and her teammates had battled in-game all the way till dawn. Just as she was about to win, the computer suddenly burst into a blinding white light, and she blacked out on the spot. When she woke again, she was told that the system had chosen her as its host, forcing her into a novel world as a supporting female character. And her mission was simple: be the perfect tool and help push the male and female leads' romance forward. Jiangya went out to gather information and rushed back 3 minutes later. "Sister Yiching, President Qi is here." The lazy host was forced to start working. Ching Yiching switched between shy girl and hopeful maiden expressions in barely a second. She took tiny, delicate steps toward Qi Wenyao and spoke in a sugary sweet tone that could rot teeth. "Wenyi, did you come to see me?" Her entire expression radiated, "I adore you." No, the cold, clipped reply shattered every bit of joy she had. Her smile froze perfectly in place. Qi Wenyao's presence was sharp and imposing, his brows tightly knitted as he spoke with clear impatience. "Ching Yiching, stop using those cheap tricks." Not far away, Shuri was still practicing her script, softly reciting her lines. Warm sunlight filtered through the leaves and fell gently on her. She kept her head lowered, her rosy lips murmuring the lines. Up close, one could still see her slightly swollen cheek, making her look fragile yet quietly determined. Qi Wenyao was unconsciously drawn to her and began walking toward her. Ching Yiching saw this, alarm bells exploding in her mind, and hurriedly chased after him. "Wenyaoji, where are you going?" The ground in that area happened to be tangled with messy cables. Ching Yiching didn't watch her footing and tripped over the wires, falling straight forward. At the critical moment, she grabbed onto Qi Wenyao. Fine, if she had to fall, she was taking someone down with her. Everything happened in an instant. Qi Wenyao wasn't prepared and was knocked to the ground by her. Clang. The two fell hard, and to make things worse, a prop shelf toppled down and landed right on Ching Yiching. The stabbing pain nearly made her swear aloud. This wasn't in the damn system plot. Getting injured should come with extra pay. The system chimed coldly. "Host, this is not a novel setting. This is your own issue. Please refrain from using profanity." Qi Wenyao was furious, ready to explode, when he suddenly heard Ching Yiching's inner voice yelling, "Damn your sister. Don't you dare blame this on me." He frowned, staring at her in confusion. Noticing his gaze, Ching Yiching immediately abandoned her argument with the system and adjusted her expression. She looked pitiful and weak. "Wenyi, are you okay? I got hit. It hurts so much." She even squeezed out a few tears for effect. Disgust flashed instantly in Qi Wenyao's eyes. The staff panicked and hurried to help them up. "Sister Yiching, are you all right? Does anything hurt?" Jiangya rushed over, terrified something serious had happened. "I feel a little dizzy, and my whole body hurts." Ching Yiching held her head, looking like she could faint any moment. While speaking, she staggered deliberately toward Qi Wenyao. His disgust deepened and he was about to step away when she suddenly snapped, "I'm in fucking pain." Hurry up and take me to the hospital. In his split-second hesitation, she fell directly into his arms. Qi Wenyao truly lived up to the perfect male lead, tall, lean, and built. Even through the thin suit fabric, Qing Yiqing could feel the firmness of his muscles. Amazing body. Too bad he's not a decent person. Qi Wenyao's expression darkened completely. Without the slightest gentleness, he shoved Qing Yiqing away. She yelped, looking up at him with wounded, pitiful eyes. The commotion around Qi Wenyao drew the attention of many people, including Shi. She asked softly, "Senior, are you all right?" I got hurt." Qing Yiqing ignored Shi completely. Her eyes were glued to Qi Wenyao. Qi Wenyao ignored her as well. His gaze landed on Shi and he grabbed her wrist. "Come with me, I have something to tell you." Qing Yiqing immediately grabbed his other wrist, leaving the three of them in a strange, tense standoff. He shook off Qing Yiqing's hand coldly, not caring about the crowd at all. "If it hurts, then go see a doctor." Was that even how humans talked? He stared directly at Qing Yiqing, confirming her mouth hadn't moved and she hadn't made a sound. Yet he still heard her. "Shi, let's go." The words were for Shi, but the probing look he shot landed directly on Qing Yiqing. "President Qi, I'm sorry that I have to work." With that, Shi strode away. "Wenyao," Qing Yiqing called out softly, but Qi Wenyao didn't respond. He followed Shi toward the filming area, though a small part of his attention remained on Qing Yiqing. "Pulling on me like that? Who said I wanted to pay attention to you?" Qi Wenyao halted mid-step and turned to look at her. Qing Yiqing instantly lifted a bright, sugary smile. "Wenyao." His stare made her scalp numb, but she kept smiling. "Is he sick? Why does he keep staring at me?" Qi Wenyao looked away. "This damn woman probably thinks her beauty blinded me." He suddenly felt the urge to hit something. Was she the one with split personalities? Or was he the one losing his mind? Filming resumed. It was another slapping scene. Smack. Qing Yiqing used full strength, 10 out of 10, sending Shi stumbling several steps, nearly falling. The director's eyes widened in shock. This was definitely going too far. Qi Wenyao handed the ice pack to Shi and asked anxiously, "Shi, are you all right?" Qing Yiqing blinked her innocent-looking big eyes, took tiny steps forward, and inserted herself right between them. "Wenyao, how was my acting?" Qi Wenyao was about to speak when her inner voice blasted again. "Hurry up and scold me. Curse me hard. Then take your precious little wife to the hospital, pour your hearts out, clear the misunderstanding, and get married immediately." Qi Wenyao stared at her in confusion. Why isn't he reacting? "Hello? I hit your woman and you're not mad. Are you even a man?" Qi Wenyao finally snapped. "Shut up." Qing Yiqing blinked her big confused eyes, looking utterly innocent. The whole scene was far too bizarre. Qi Wenyao needed time to process. He said nothing, shot her a single look, then turned around and left, without even checking on Shi again. System, is he really the male lead? Isn't he supposed to like the heroine already? What's with this attitude? The system replied, "Host, the plot has deviated. According to the original storyline, he should become furious after seeing you bully Shi, harshly scold you, and publicly defend Shi in front of everyone. And their relationship should deepen from there. What is happening now? Why isn't he following the script? Plot error. Error correction failed. Host, please manually add a plot event to fix the romance line." Jiangya, feeling bad for her, tried to comfort her. "Sister Yiqing, President Qi, he'll notice you one day." Qing Yiqing snapped out of her thoughts and looked at Jiang Yue. "Do I look sad?" She was actually very sad. This mission was too hard. She was clearly a beautiful, adorable, kind little victim. Why did she have to suffer like this? Next, she had to return to the old family estate. Qing Yiqing didn't look very good. She closed her eyes to rest while reviewing the upcoming plot. In this world, any place without the male and female leads always felt as if it were covered in a layer of dull gray. Qing Yiqing had grown up pampered, smart, beautiful, and gifted. After her parents passed away 5 years ago, Grandpa Qing cherished her even more, afraid she would suffer the slightest grievance. A rich, gorgeous heiress. Why did she have to be a villainous tool person? The moment she got out of the car, a wave of grievance washed over her. She stepped through the door and tears immediately fell. Seeing her like this, Grandpa Cheng's expression changed instantly. "Yiqing, what happened?" Looking pitiful and wronged, Qing Yiqing recounted everything that happened on set. Grandpa Ching couldn't bear to hear it. His expression shifted entirely in heartache. His face turned frighteningly dark and he immediately called the Chi family. After hanging up, he patted her hand lovingly. That Chi boy is getting more and more unruly. How could he treat you like this in public? Actually, it's not Wen Yaoji's fault. It's that Shi. She keeps clinging to him and trying to seduce him. Qing Yiqing smoothly activated her T-sweet manipulative speech skill, shifting all blame onto Shi. If it weren't for her, when you wouldn't treat me that way. She even squeezed out 2 perfectly timed tears. Grandpa Qing frowned deeply, glanced at the butler behind him and said, "Go investigate this Shi. Warn her to behave." Grandpa Qing gently patted her shoulder, unable to hide the worry in his eyes. "Wen Yao will be here soon. I asked him to apologize to you." As they were speaking, Qi Wen Yao arrived. The moment she saw him, Qing Yiqing's eyes lit up instantly. She hurried forward and affectionately hooked her arm around his. "Wen Yao, you're here." Only on such occasions would Qi Wen Yao refrain from pulling away. "When are you and Yiqing planning to get engaged?" Grandpa Qing didn't accuse him outright. Instead, he probed, trying to judge Qi Wen Yao's true attitude. Qing Yiqing immediately turned to look at him, unable to restrain the joy shimmering in her eyes. Yiqing is still young and her career has just begun. Getting engaged now might affect her development. Qi Wen Yao spoke carefully, polite, but still a rejection. Grandpa Qing misunderstood, thinking Qi Wen Yao was threatening Yiqing. His face darkened instantly. "Qi Wen Yao, do you think I'm old and easy to fool? Do you know how much she has suffered because she likes you?" His anger rose as he spoke. "You're giving me an answer today. Either get engaged to Yiqing or our 2 families cut ties completely." "Grandpa, what are you talking about?" Qing Yiqing panicked, quickly standing up to block him. "Wen Yao is right. My career comes first right now." She held on to Qi Wen Yao's sleeve carefully as if terrified of upsetting him, her expression full of humble pleading. "Wen Yao, Grandpa drank tonight. What he said doesn't count. I brought a gift for you when I went abroad last time. Come upstairs with me to get it." Grandpa Qing felt helpless and heartbroken. His foolish granddaughter was hopelessly in love with this man. "You damn man. Why did you actually follow me upstairs? Your true love is Shi. Hurry up and shake me off." Qi Wen Yao clenched his jaw, his face darkening even further. "You have a mouth that I sit only for decoration. Try using it and speak." Their eyes met. His expression turned shadowy, a faint vein pulsing at his temple. This infuriating woman really had 2 faces. Suddenly, Qi Wen Yao grabbed her hand. "Grandpa is right. The engagement should indeed be discussed. Yiqing and I will talk it over these days and pick a date." His words stunned both grandfather and granddaughter. Qing Yiqing froze on the spot. Qi Wen Yao then glanced at her, a subtle, unreadable smile on his lips. "Yiqing, what do you think?" Her eyes turned red instantly as she threw herself into his arms. "I'll listen to whatever you say." "It's over. It's totally over. Qi Wen Yao, are you even human?" Forcing herself to stay calm, Qing Yiqing led Qi Wen Yao into her bedroom and took out the watch she'd prepared. "Wen Yao, I spent a long time picking this watch. Do you like it?" Inside she screamed, "Say you don't like it. I'm not willing to give away an 80,000+ watch." Qi Wen Yao took the watch. "Good taste." He even put it on. Qing Yiqing immediately lost her composure. "Is he praising me? Did Grandpa's threat really scare him into submission?" "Qi Wen Yao, you're weaker than I thought." Qi Wen Yao's expression shifted from relaxed to increasingly unpleasant. He sat down on the sofa without saying a word, listening to her chaotic inner monologue. This part of the plot had no written lines and Qing Yiqing's mind was a mess. She couldn't act at all. Why is he sitting down? Why isn't he leaving? Is he planning to stay for Chinese New Year? After enduring it for a long moment, she finally spoke. "Wen Yi, I'll have someone prepare a guest room for you. You can stay here tonight." "No need. I'll just stay with you tonight." Qing Yiqing acted surprised, her smile stretching so wide it almost reached the ceiling. "Damn man. Claims he loves Shi, but in reality he still covets my beauty." Qi Wen Yao's smile instantly froze. Do I look like someone that desperate?" Though he said that, he clearly had no intention of staying. He soon stood up to leave. "Wen Yi, you're leaving." Qing Yiqing quickly blocked his way. Qi Wen Yao didn't respond, his expression ice cold. As he stepped out, she cheerfully waved. "Wen Yao, bye." The moment the door closed, she blurted out, "System, is there even an engagement plot between me and Qi Wen Yao?" If the story changes, can I still go home? Searching for plot data. Please wait. The longer she waited, the more anxious she became. According to the storyline, once Chi Wenyao learned she liked him, he should treat her with extreme coldness. Anything she did would be wrong. But tonight, he not only talked about getting engaged, he praised the watch she gave him and even nearly stayed the night. At this rate, forget going home, she might actually die in this novel world. Search complete. Uploading now. Portions of the novel appeared on her mental screen. Chapter 254. Chi Wenyao and Qing Yiqing forced to consider engagement. Chapter 268. Shi learns of the engagement, falls into despair. Chapter 279. Shi and Chi Wenyao clear the misunderstanding, engagement cancelled. Qing Yiqing read everything in one go, then jumped to the current storyline. Chapter 97. The Qing family targets Shi. The plot clearly stated there was no engagement here. Now the engagement event appeared early, and its entire nature had changed. Warning, warning. Plot deviation detected. Host must immediately correct the storyline to restore normal progress. No shit, I noticed. Sweat beaded across Qing Yiqing's forehead. What happens if I fail the mission? What happened to the people before me? Mission failure may result in the host being permanently trapped in the novel world. As you are part of the first execution group, there are no prior cases. He finally understood she was one of the first test subjects. Damn it. When you chose me as the host, you never mentioned this. I don't care, I want to quit. Quit impossible. Host must complete the mission. The original character is arrogant, willful, and dismissive of others. Host, your persona has collapsed. So Yao, it was her fault for not being arrogant enough. Qing Yiqing bit her gums in frustration. Fine, that I'll act arrogant tomorrow. Still shaken by the sudden chaos, she decided to calm her nerves with a few intense rounds of PUBG Mobile. Meanwhile, Chi Wenyao suddenly stopped walking. He turned toward the old estate, his gaze deep and heavy. He was absolutely certain he had heard Qing Yiqing's inner voice. So she didn't like him at all. Everything she did before was acting. But for what purpose? And what about Shi? Why was Qing Yiqing so convinced he liked Shi, and even trying to push the two of them together? A tangle of confusion churned in his mind, leaving him restless and irritated. Chi Wenyao was upset and Qing Yiqing wasn't doing any better. Before 7, Jiangya arrived at the estate. These days, Qing Yiqing had been oddly gentle, which made Jiangya bold enough to knock, then enter directly after no response. Sister Yiqing, it's time to get up. Qing Yiqing had gamed till dawn and slept less than an hour. Now her head throbbed painfully. She mumbled, got it? Host, please maintain the original arrogant and willful persona. The system's voice echoed in her mind. Qing Yiqing frowned deeply, opened her eyes impatiently, and began her forced performance. He grabbed a pillow and hurled it at Jiangya. Get out. Startled, Jiangya backed out immediately, closing the door behind her. Qing Yiqing sat up and rubbed her throbbing head. Poor girl, she's been through enough. Then she flopped back onto the bed and continued sleeping. After a few hours of sleep, she headed to the filming set. Soon, teacher Li Yi arrived. The scene today was her acting opposite him. Her heart instantly pounded that he's too handsome. Li Yi, hello. On the surface she looked calm, but inside she was in full panic mode. Li Yi paused for a second before giving her a warm smile. Hello. Their scene went surprisingly smoothly. Qing Yiqing slipped into the emotional state quickly, and Director Chow, who had been gloomy all day, finally showed a smile. But Chi Wenyao wasn't nearly as pleased. Shi had suddenly gone missing and he couldn't reach her. He had come to the set looking for her, only to stumble upon this scene. And the stars shining in Qing Yiqing's eyes, he knew that looked too well. She had looked at him that way before. Now she was using that gaze on another man. Qing Yiqing didn't notice Chi Wenyao at all. She was busy talking to Li Yi. How did I do just now? Her eyes sparkled, waiting for his praise. Excellent, you have a real chance at competing for Best Actress. For an actor, that was an incredibly high compliment. Qing Yiqing's eyes curved into crescents, brimming with joy. Her idol praised her again and she was thrilled. The system prompted, Host Chi Wenyao has arrived. Qing Yiqing turned toward him. Chi Wenyao's fists clenched and he had the urge to punch something. This damn woman. Is messing with me fun for her? I'm here to find Shi. Qi Wenyao said coldly. Cheng Yiqing's voice carried an unmistakable hint of sadness. Wenyao, I really don't know where Shi is. But inside she was screaming. She ran away after being scolded by her grandpa. She's broke, hiding in an internet cave called Gather Friends. Go look there. Coming to the set. What are you even doing? Don't ruin my moment. Qi Wenyao suddenly grabbed her wrist. His expression shifted drastically, fury blazing in his eyes. You vicious woman. Wenyao, I didn't. Cheng Yiqing was stunned. Is this man mentally unstable? How am I vicious? And ouch, you're hurting daddy. I will never like you, never. You think playing hard to get and pulling cheap tricks will make me notice you? Qi Wenyao let out a cold laugh, his gaze sharp and poisonous as it stabbed into her. Cheng Yiqing's face turned pale. She looked at him in disbelief, eyes turning red in an instant. Wenyao, I didn't. Really, I didn't. Who's playing hard to get with you? You? Qi Wenyao sneered and turned away, striding off. He hated feeling like a monkey being toyed with by her. System, what's going on with this plot? I remember this part was just a short transitional scene. The big moment comes after he finds Shi, right? Searching. Please wait. Search complete. Plot deviation detected. Host must correct course immediately. Cheng Yiqing frowned so hard she could crush a fly between her brows. Your world is way too bizarre. Thinking back to Qi Wenyao's eyes, a chill still crawled down her spine. Why did he suddenly snap like that? Li Yi suddenly appeared behind her, concern in his eyes. Are you all right? Cheng Yiqing snapped back to reality. Seeing the handsome face she adored, she instantly brightened. I'm fine. Meanwhile, he rushed into the internet cafe. Qi Wenyao searched row by row until he finally found Shi curled up in the most hidden corner. She was huddled in a tiny ball on the chair, looking pitiful. Qi Wenyao gently tapped her shoulder. Shi woke with a start, panic flashing in her eyes, until she saw it was him. I'm taking you out of here. Qi Wenyao bent down and lifted her into his arms. She had always been strong, and this was his first time seeing her so fragile, like a wounded kitten, stirring a painful tenderness in his chest. The more he thought about how Shi ended up like this, the more the flames of anger toward Cheng Yiqing burned in him. Back in bed, Cheng Yiqing watched the plot unfold. Shi had fought with her family, had nowhere to go, and Qi Wenyao found her in the internet cafe. Shi, usually so strong, exposed her vulnerable side to Qi Wenyao, and naturally he took her to his private villa to stay. When Cheng Yiqing heard the news, she let out a long breath of relief and happily played a few rounds of games to celebrate. The next day she went to the set as usual. Acting opposite Li Yi again, every scene was passed in one take, flawless. Director Chow's smile grew wider each time. A professional actor who saves the crew time and trouble is always appreciated. Cheng Yiqing maintained her full enthusiasm toward Li Yi. I've got things to do tonight. See you tomorrow. Li Yi smiled. All right, see you tomorrow. Cheng Yiqing walked over to Shi and called her name. Shi was studying her script intently. Hearing the call, she looked up. Senior, what is it? Go change your clothes. You're coming somewhere with me. I'm giving you 30 minutes. Senior, I don't want to go. Cheng Yiqing placed her hand firmly on Shi's left shoulder. I'm not asking for your opinion. Her eyes turned cold and threatening. Either you come with me or you pack your things and get out of the crew. Guess whether I'll actually do it. In the end, Shi had no choice but to agree. After Shi left, Jiangye finally asked timidly, Yiqingjie, what are you taking her for? I'm going to a dinner party. Don't I need an assistant to hold my bag? Once in the car, Cheng Yiqing watched the time closely, waiting for Shi. At the 29th minute, she saw Shi running over from afar. Drive. The driver froze. Miss Shi isn't here yet. I told you to drive. 1 second before Shi reached the car, the engine roared to life and the vehicle moved forward. Shi chased after it, sweating heavily. Senior, I'm not on the car yet. But the car sped up, and with her thin little legs, even if they broke, she could never catch up. Ding. Her phone chimed. Shi opened it and saw a message from Cheng Yiqing. You're late. Go to the address yourself. Lisboa Hotel, room 1408. 30-minute limit. Don't be late. Gritting her teeth, Shi opened her map. The hotel was more than 10 kilometers away. A taxi would cost nearly 70 yuan. Meanwhile, Qing Yiqing kept pulling out her phone, checking the system. Do you think Shi might get mad and not come? The plot says she should come. Can the author even read her own damn novel? It's written like trash. I can't stand it. Good thing I have you. The way she writes villains has zero logic. Even I get mad reading my own behavior. If I were the heroine, I would have stopped coming ages ago. Screw the plot. Host, please refrain from rebellious thoughts. Follow the designated storyline. Shi looked around helplessly, then forced herself to get on a shared e-bike. In the sweltering heat, wearing a mask, she struggled to pedal forward. At an intersection, she checked her phone and saw a message Qing Yiqing sent 20 minutes ago. Location changed. Come to Hill Hotel near the set, directly here. She had almost reached the original destination, only to be told the location had changed. She had to go all the way back. Even someone with her temper couldn't help feeling wronged. Despite being toyed with again and again, Shi still came. Qing Yiqing felt guilty inside but kept a cold exterior. When she saw Shi arrive, she immediately frowned impatiently. With such a short distance, why are you only just getting here? Shi finally snapped. Senior, what exactly do you want me to do? Qing Yiqing's brows tightened. That's your attitude? She slammed her phone onto the table with a sharp crack. The engagement banquet I'm attending tonight includes wealthy families, top directors and celebrities. Letting you come as my assistant is a blessing for you. Why aren't you grateful? Inside, Qing Yiqing felt she was being horrible. Shi stood frozen for a whole minute before forcing out a soft, strained. After saying that, Shi turned around and left. Qing Yiqing panicked inside. I'm the villainess. My ending is definitely going to be bad. Host, don't worry. Once you finish your mission, you will return to the real world. Qing Yiqing sent her to buy a cake. When it arrived, she took a small spoonful and tasted it. Too sweet. But inside she was screaming, it's delicious. Senior, it's from the shop you like. Even though she tried suppressing it, the anger surging in Shi's eyes could no longer be fully hidden. Qing Yiqing wiped her mouth, pushed the cake aside with disgust and said, throw it away. Inside she was shouting, System, this cake is amazing, wasting food, so cruel. Host, this is required by the plot. 3 hours later, Qing Yiqing was fully dressed. A pure white gown, studded with sparkling crystals, perfectly outlining her waist. Under the lights she looked like a fairy who took a wrong turn into the mortal world. Qi Wenyao was already waiting. The moment he saw her, a flash of undeniable amazement appeared in his eyes. Qing Yiqing instantly sensed it. Dog man, that I knew you were coveting my beauty. Shi followed silently behind her. Qing Yiqing called out happily, quickly running toward Qi Wenyao and wrapping herself around his arm. Why did you come so late? I waited for you for so long. Qi Wenyao clenched his teeth and yanked his arm away. Why is she here? Qing Yiqing tilted her head at Shi, looking completely innocent. She heard tonight's engagement banquet is full of high society people, and several famous directors and actors, so she insisted on coming along. Shi finally steadied her emotions. She stepped forward and met Qi Wenyao's gaze. Yes. Why? Is that not allowed? Qi Wenyao's face darkened instantly. His tone was harsh. That kind of event isn't suitable for you. Don't go. And why isn't it suitable? Because it's all high society, and I don't deserve to be there. Her eyes reddened, but her voice only grew sharper. The atmosphere among the three grew unbearably strange. Qing Yiqing broke the tension first. Wenyao, get in the car. It'll look bad if we're late. Then she glanced at Shi. You sit in the back. Shi forced her voice steady, cold and decisive. I'm going because my senior asked me to. President Qi doesn't get to control me. She turned and walked away. Inside the car, Qing Yiqing shot Qi Wenyao a glance. Why are you sulking at a time like this? Just pin her down and kiss her already. You act like a sealed jar. Who's supposed to understand what you're thinking? Qi Wenyao was driven half crazy by her chatter. He glared at her viciously. Be quiet. Oh, you find even this noisy? Then go live in the desert. What are you doing here? I was wrong. Qing Yiqing looked at him pitifully. Shi watched the entire scene calmly, yet her heart felt like it was being pricked by needles. They finally arrived at the villa. Qing Yiqing slipped right back into acting mode. softening her voice as she held her hand out to Qi Wenyao. Wenyao, help me get out of the car. Dressed in a pure white evening gown, it really wasn't easy for her to move. And with that ridiculous pepper salt sticker on her back, Qi Wenyao still helped her down without thinking. This dog of a man, don't tell me he's falling for me? Sure, I'm dazzling, but the one I truly love is Yi. How could I cheat? Trash. Qing Yiqing, are you insane? Qi Wenyao, raised in an elite family with impeccable etiquette, had never cursed in his life. Yet this was the first time profanity slipped from his lips. Qing Yiqing's eyes widened. She stared at him in disbelief and muttered, System, get out here. I haven't read enough novels. Don't lie to me that he can swear. Scanning. Please wait. Male lead's personality deviation detected. Host, please correct manually. Qi Wenyao's suspicion only deepened. System. Who is she talking to? The doubt in his gaze grew heavier. The Qi and Qing families were renowned in a dash city. As soon as the two stepped into the villa, guests swarmed them with greetings, pushing Yi completely to the outer edge of the crowd. Yi sat alone in a corner, stiff and uneasy, her eyes filled with helplessness. A waiter carrying a tray of drinks walked up to Yi. Miss, do you need anything? Yi shook her head, the cold in her body only grew heavier. Qing Yiqing kept a bright, flawless smile as she chatted with the guests. Inside, she was cursing non-stop. Why is this taking forever? I'm starving. Yi is about to leave. Why isn't he chasing her? What does he even think about all day? Qi Wenyao heard every word of her thoughts and instinctively glanced toward her. Yi screamed, drawing a wave of disgusted stares. Red wine drenched her hair, the crimson liquid running down her cheeks and soaking into her clothes, blooming into a shocking stain. A staff member approached her, polite on the surface, but the disdain in his eyes was impossible to miss. Miss, may I see your invitation? Yi didn't have one. Her throat tightened. She couldn't say a single word. She could only shake her head. I'm sorry, miss. Without an invitation, I'll have to ask you to leave. Just as Yi was about to be thrown out, Qi Wenyao arrived. She's with me. Whoever touches her, try it. A thin layer of anger colored his face. His shout shook the entire hall. He rushed to take off his suit jacket and draped it over Yi, wrapping her small frame completely. Soft murmurs rippled through the crowd. What's going on between President Qi and that woman? Qing Yiqing downed her champagne in one go. Her turn to perform had come again. She casually set the glass aside. She hurried toward the crowd, letting out a dramatic gasp that drew everyone's attention. Wenyao, Yi, what are you two doing? Her voice was loud enough for the entire room to hear Yi's name. Qi Wenyao grabbed Qing Yiqing and dragged her away. Her inner voice roared, Hey! You grabbed the wrong person. Your precious Yi is behind you. Don't touch me, don't touch me. Hearing her thoughts, Qi Wenyao froze for a second, his teeth clenched. He nearly crushed them. He wanted nothing more than to strangle this infuriating woman as if he wanted to touch her. He threw her hand off. Qing Yiqing instinctively rubbed the spot where he'd squeezed too hard. Tears welled in her eyes as she choked out, Wenyao, you say it clearly. Do you really like Yi? Then what about me? What about me? Come on, don't chicken out. Admit you love Yi. Say it and I'll call you a real man. She lowered herself completely. I know, Wenyao, you don't like Yi, right? If you did, you'd say it out loud. Right? No need to think. This coward definitely won't admit it. Qi Wenyao exhaled sharply. Another day where he just wanted to punch something. Qing Yiqing dragged Yi along, clearly annoyed. Seriously, how is this kind of man the male lead? Just because of that poker face. Qi Wenyao's face darkened even more as he shot her a sharp glare. Once inside the room, Qing Yiqing's expression completely collapsed, her eyes turning vicious. Yi, feeling proud of yourself? Yi hurriedly shook her head. Senior sister, I'm not. Qing Yiqing let out a cold laugh, her resentment spilling over. Coming here today, did you still not understand? A gutter fly like you could never deserve Qi Wenyao. Yi took a deep breath, forcing back the tears in her eyes, steadying herself. Senior sister, don't worry. President Qi and I have nothing between us. That's more like it. Qing Yiqing nodded with satisfaction, pointing at the outfit beside them. Change. This is probably the only time in your life you'll ever get to wear something this expensive. Cherish it. Shi bit her lower lip, silent. While she wasn't looking, Qing Yiqing secretly glanced at her. System, I'm being this vicious. Your conscience doesn't hurt. Host, it's required for the plot. Shi changed into the dress. A pure white strapless evening gown. On her. It made her look even more delicate and pitiful. A flicker of admiration flashed through Qing Yiqing's eyes. She cleared her throat, but her mouth remained sharp. Looks pretty good, but putting such an expensive dress on you is really a waste. Qing Yiqing opened the door, intentionally letting Shi walk ahead. Come on, dogman. Show your domineering Xiao aura. Qi Wenyao had been waiting outside. The moment he saw Shi, he didn't even have time to react. Before hearing Qing Yiqing's inner voice, hurry, hug her, kiss her, take her away, confess on the spot, comfort her broken heart. Qi Wenyao's face darkened again. So this was the kind of man he was in Qing Yiqing's mind. She even shoved Shi aside. You still say you're not seducing Wenyao? Do you want any shame? She took a few steps toward Qi Wenyao. Wenyao, can't you see? She only approaches you to climb the social ladder. She doesn't like you for real. Shi frantically waved her hands, shaking her head hard. Shiji, I didn't. I really didn't. Then she looked at Qi Wenyao. President Qi, I'll move out of your house as soon as possible. I won't trouble you anymore. Qing Yiqing's eyes went round like copper bells. Her whole body trembled in disbelief. What? You moved into Wenyao's house? I've said this much and you're still mute. Give me a reaction. Qi Wenyao finally spoke. Qing Yiqing, aren't you tired? Qing Yiqing didn't understand what he meant, but the plot still had to move forward. Wenyao, I don't allow you to live with her. Kick her out now or I'll tell Grandma Qi. Qi Wenyao threw out his final words. We're leaving. Then he grabbed Shi and walked off, ignoring her struggle. Qing Yiqing panicked as she'd said so much. This was all the reaction he gave? System, isn't this the part where he realizes I was the one scheming and then explodes at me? What's going on? Scanning. Please wait. Male lead persona error detected. Plot deviation occurring. Host, please correct immediately. Every time she heard that robotic voice, Qing Yiqing couldn't help snapping. System, don't you feel any shame? Do you look high-tech to you? Back at home, Qing Yiqing sat on her bed. Ever since she started this mission, she hadn't followed the script properly even once. Her mentality was completely shattered. She was so depressed that even the system seemed to pity her. Host, minor deviations won't affect the main storyline. Yeah, I believe you. Absolutely not. She checked the mission progress bar as a floating control panel appeared in front of her eyes. When she entered the novel, the story was already halfway through. Qi Wenyao and Shi had developed mutual feelings. The progress bar showed 33%. She froze. 30 seconds later, the control panel refreshed. The progress bar had dropped to 20%. All her hard work had only made things worse. Qing Yiqing let out a tragic wail and collapsed onto the bed. Complete mental shutdown. Host, maybe you should play a few rounds of games? Didn't you say you reported back to headquarters? Where's the follow-up? Due to certain reasons, headquarters is currently unreachable. Please relax, host. Worst case scenario, you'll just keep living as Qing Yiqing. Her family background is excellent. Not a loss. Wow. Truly comforting. Qing Yiqing decided to cool off by playing a few rounds of her game. Still upset, she wreaked havoc in the match. Her teammates spammed the chat. Boss is popping off again. Nothing else to say. Boss is OP. On her second day in this world, Qing Yiqing gathered a bunch of players and formed her own squad. In just a little over 10 days, she had already led them to impressive rankings. Boss, I brought a newbie in. The newcomer's ID had only one letter. Q.IT looked pretentious. Sure. While typing, Qing Yiqing casually sniped an enemy. If I didn't know your skill level, I'd think you were hacking, someone said. Qing Yiqing typed at lightning speed. That newbie saved you 3 times. If you don't know how to play hide and stop dragging us down. She exited the game, approved Q's application to join the squad, yawned and went to bed. Early the next morning, she walked the short distance between the 2 adjacent villas. Grandma Qi, I brought you some bird's nest soup, she said cheerfully as she entered. On the sofa sat the silver-haired Madame Qi. Madame Qi pretended to be angry. You little girl, why are you still being polite with me? Always bringing gifts. Next time you do this, I won't let you visit. Qing Yiqing beamed and handed the bird's nest to Aunt Xiang. It's just me being filial, Grandma Qi. Good child, truly a good child. Madame Chi rubbed her hand affectionately. Have you gotten thinner? Following the script, Ching Yiching let her expression collapse, looking pitifully wronged. Madame Chi's face instantly darkened. What happened? Who upset you? Tell Grandma. Grandma will stand up for you. Ching Yiching's voice choked when he brought that social climbing woman to live at his place. Her eyes reddened at a man and a woman alone under one roof. And sure is no harmless little lamb. Madame Chi's eyes widened at is that true? I'll call Wenyao over right now. Chi Wenyao arrived shortly after. Madame Chi trembled with anger, shouting, You, get over here. She stared straight at him, desperate for him to deny it. You brought a woman home? Chi Wenyao glanced at Ching Yiching. She rolled her eyes. What are you looking at? Yes, I tattled. Bite me. Chi Wenyao nodded. Madame Chi looked stunned, then shoved him hard. Are you out of your mind? How can you bring some random woman home? In Ching Yiching's mind, good job, Grang. Scold him. This damn man takes forever to chase someone. Curse him harder. Chi Wenyao clenched his fists, staring at Ching Yiching again. Ching Yiching. He had barely started when Madame Chi cut in. You still want to blame Yiching? That sure Get her out of the house immediately. Grandma, I'll handle it, Chi Wenyao said, his gaze darkening as it fell on Ching Yiching. Madame Chi added firmly, starting today, Yiching will move into your place. Meanwhile, Ching Yiching was thinking, it's been 2 days since I saw Li Yi, I miss him. This damned woman. Chi Wenyao's chest tightened. She claimed to like him, yet her mind was full of another man that he forced himself to answer. Fine. She can move in. Ching Yiching clung to Chi Wenyao's arm and spoke in an overly dramatic, syrupy tone. Really, Wenyi? I knew you cared about me. According to the script, he should have strongly refused, only agreeing after Grandma Chi pressured him with her life. Chi Wenyao glanced at her. If you don't like me, why lie to yourself and force it? Ching Yiching smiled like a blooming flower. Suddenly she gathered her courage, tiptoed, and placed a light kiss on his right cheek. Chi Wenyao froze as if struck by lightning. The warm, sweet touch lingered on his skin, rattling his entire mind. He frowned, but he wasn't nearly as repulsed as he thought he'd be. Before he could process the feeling, her inner voice exploded again. To go home, I've sacrificed way too much. I wanted my first kiss to be for Li Yi. Never thought this damn man Chi Wenyao would get it first. This woman. Kissing him was one thing, but thinking about another man afterward. Grandma, it's getting late. I'm taking her home. Chi Wenyao grabbed her wrist and pulled hard. Damn you, are you trying to murder me? You almost ripped my arm off. Hearing that, Chi Wenyao instinctively loosened his grip. Then he realized, why was he listening to this woman at all? A two-faced woman like her deserved to be crushed. He shot her a fierce glare. If you still want to move in, then walk faster. Instead of packing, Ching Yiching went back to her room to play games. The system reminded her. Host Ching Yiching should be thrilled about moving into Chi Wenyao's place and must pack immediately according to the plot progression. Old Master Ching was stunned when he learned that Ching Yiching didn't leave. It was already late at night, yet he went to her room himself, worry written all over his face. Did you and Wenyao get into a fight? Ching Yiching froze. Grandpa, why did you suddenly ask that? The old man gently stroked her head, his tone low and steady. About you moving to the Chi family, even if you don't say it, Grandpa can guess. Wenyao probably didn't agree willingly. Did something happen between you two? Don't worry. Whatever you like, Grandpa will always support you. Looking at the old man who cared for her more than anyone in the world, her nose stung. She reached out and hugged him. Grandpa, I just wanted to stay home for one more day. It's not that she wouldn't let me go. Don't worry, I won't let myself suffer. Old Master Ching nodded. You've grown up and have your own thoughts. I won't interfere. But remember, whenever you're wronged, Grandpa will always have your back. Ching Yiching held his arm and chatted with him for a long while before he finally left. In-game, she lost credit points for being AFK, and her teammates were raging in the chat. Ching Yiching ignored them, exited the game, and lay down on her soft bed. For the first time she felt, maybe staying here wasn't so bad. After all, in the real world she had nothing except gaming. She told the house staff to pack up and then headed to the film set with Jiang Ya. As they neared the location, she asked, does she have scenes today? Yes. What about Li Yi? He does too. After answering, Jiang Ya hurriedly added, but Yiching Jia, last time you two had dinner together, the paparazzi got photos. The company barely managed to suppress it, so please be careful. Before Jiangye could finish her sentence, Qing Yiqing had already frowned. And you think you're qualified to tell me what to do? Jiangye panicked, waving her hands frantically, her face turning pale. Yiqingjie, I didn't. Qing Yiqing shot her a sidelong glance. If you didn't, then shut up. Qing Yiqing got out of the car and Jiangye hurried to hold the umbrella for her, acting as if a single glance might scare her to death. Seeing how nervous the girl was, Yiqing couldn't help sighing inwardly. Great. Look at how badly I frightened her. A persona was a persona, but she still had a soft heart. I want coffee. Go buy 2. Keep one for yourself. And put them both on the studio account. Jiangye was stunned with joy. Okay. Her boss's shifting expressions only made her even more nervous. When they arrived at the set, staff members passing by greeted her one after another. Hello, Yiqingjie. Qing Yiqing responded with a faint nod. From a distance, she spotted she sitting in a corner, quietly reading her script. Since the engagement banquet, this was the first time she had seen she again. Yiqing. Just as she was about to walk toward she, a familiar, pleasant voice called from behind. She froze mid-step and turned around. Ie, you're here too? Yet I have seen today that he was dressed casually, no styling, no accessories, yet still effortlessly handsome. That's great. Qing Yiqing blurted out the truth before she could stop herself. Li couldn't help laughing, raising a brow. What? Did you miss me? Her face instantly flushed red. Her idol had just flirted with her. Li knew when to stop and smoothly changed the topic. I'm heading to makeup. Qing Yiqing stood there in a trance, her mind looping that one line he said. The joy of a fangirl was just that simple. The system chimed in. Host, please follow the plot. Qing Yiqing snapped back impatiently. I know. What's the rush? It won't kill you to wait. With a sense of tragic determination, she walked toward she. The thought that her beloved idol might see her acting like a spoiled brat made her chest tighten with embarrassment. Qing Yiqing stopped right in front of she, eyes cold and sharp. You still have the nerve to show up on set. Shuri looked up at Qing Yiqing, her face tight with frustration, though she forced herself to stay composed. Senior sister, what did I do wrong? Yiqing pinched her chin, her voice cold. Let me ask you, did you move out of Wenyao's place or not? Shiyi's eyes flickered, her lips stumbling for an answer. That hesitation alone was enough. It told Yiqing everything she needed to know. Yiqing's gaze sharpened instantly, a wave of anger rushing through her. You still haven't moved out. Shiyi, do you even want your dignity? Don't forget what you promised me that day. Grinding her teeth, she flung her hand aside. I'll remind you again. Stop dreaming about clinging to the Qi family. That you're not worthy of Wenyao. But before that slap could land on Shiyi's face, someone seized Yiqing's wrist. Are you insane? Qi Wenyao's voice was low and icy as he flung Qing Yiqing aside. Caught off guard, she stumbled back several steps. Li rushed over just in time to catch her. Are you okay? His brows were drawn tight with worry. Real worry. Yiqing shook her head lightly. Wenyao reached to help Shiyi, but his hand paused midair. His eyes went cold as he shot a vicious glare at Yiqing. Qing Yiqing jolted in fright, nearly forgetting what was supposed to happen next. She spaced out for a moment, then she rushed forward. Wenyao, how long are you planning to protect her? She's using you. She doesn't even love you. Shiyi pressed into Wenyao's arms, her voice trembling. I'm not using you. I never provoked senior sister. Wenyao didn't even know where the anger came from. He just felt it. Get lost. His voice cracked like thunder as he shook off Yiqing's hand from his arm. Then he pulled Yiqing behind him. President Qi, don't you think you're crossing the line? Someone dared to ask. These two going head-to-head was basically a death wish. One was a major investor, a true industry powerhouse. The other was a chart-topping star with acting chops and insane traffic. He couldn't afford to offend either, but being surrounded by cameras, he had no choice but to step in. Everyone calm down. Please. Calm down. What I do is none of your damn business. Wenyao tossed out the sentence, shot Yiqing one last cold glance and walked away. Qing Yiqing was furious. The upcoming pathetic apology plotline. Yeah, she had zero intention of acting that out. Qi Wenyao lowered his dark eyes, hiding whatever emotion flashed there, and walked away with Shiyi. Yiqing watched him leave with resentment simmering in her chest. Out of the corner of her eye, she caught Shiyi turning her head slightly, and Yiqing's heart clenched hard. Because in that split second she clearly saw it. A flicker of calculation. A hint of smugness. Barely noticeable but definitely there. What the hell? Isn't the female lead supposed to be a pure white lotus? Does she have a blackening arc later? She asked the system. System, no. Next up was her scene with Lee Yi, an intimate one with physical contact and everything. Lee Yi still seemed angry, his expression was completely cold, none of the earlier warmth remained. If she couldn't chase him anymore, then fine, she could switch idols. Lately she'd been obsessed with Su Kun, a freshly debuted 20-year-old idol. Baby face, full collagen, youthful energy. And when he danced, damn, he was dangerously handsome. He made her heart pound like crazy. She just wanted to scream support for her new little idol. She arrived at the Qi residence. Jiangye looked worried. Yiqingjie, do you need my help? No, you can head back, Qing Yiqing replied flatly. She turned toward Qi Wenyang's villa, took a deep breath and strode forward. Fine. Let the storm hit harder. This wasn't her original body anyway. This face belonged to the novel's Qing Yiqing. What she didn't expect was that Qi Wenyang had changed the door code. By the fifth wrong attempt, her patience snapped. Staring at the tightly shut door, she balled her fists and started pounding on it. Qi Wenyang, open the door. I said open up. Don't hide in there. I know you're home. You've got the guts to change the code but not the guts to open the door. Her shouting drew the attention of the security guards. Suddenly, bang. The door swung open. Qi Wenyang grabbed her and yanked her inside. Once in the villa, Yiqing let out a cold snort. Oh? Suddenly willing to let me in? Qi Wenyang's face darkened. You were shouting like a madwoman. Where's your noble lady upbringing? Your things are upstairs. Pack them and leave. Nope. Qing Yiqing plopped onto the sofa, raising her voice deliberately. Aunt Jing, bring me a honey lemon water. Extra ice. The system chimed in. Host, your persona is collapsing. You love Qi Wenyang. You can't treat her like this. Qi Wenyang let out a cold laugh. So you're not even bothering to act anymore, huh? Qing Yiqing's heart jolted. Why did it feel like he could see straight through her? Act. Why would he say that? Did her collapsed persona actually affect the plot, and him, this much? Her arrogance vanished in an instant. She really wronged her Wenyao this time. She grabbed his arm, her tone softening. I was just too anxious. Please don't kick me out, okay? When you live under someone's roof, you bow your head. Fine, I'll take the hit today. But one day I'm getting this debt back. Qi Wenyang pulled his arm free. He shot her a cold glance, then headed upstairs. He didn't tell her to leave, which meant he was allowing her to stay. Her first meal living under Qi Wenyang's roof was destined to be battlefield-level chaos. Qing Yiqing dawdled her way downstairs. Qi Wenyang and Shi were already seated. Senior, Shi greeted timidly, nothing like the calculating girl Yiqing thought she saw that day. Yiqing's eyes sharpened immediately, her dislike barely concealed. Did I really see wrong that day? Is Shi not a scheming snake after all? Qi Wenyang frowned slightly, glancing at Shi. Scheming snake. What even? Yiqing spoke with icy precision. Shi's been freeloading here every day. Aren't you worried the media will find out and ruin your career? Can't find a place to stay or just don't want to? Her words were sharp, her glare murderous, while her brain quietly screamed, God, that lion's head meatball looks delicious. And that shrimp, and the beef, my weakness. Qi Wenyang was about to snap back, but Yiqing's chaotic inner thoughts left him speechless. Shi cast him a faint, accidental glance, saw that he didn't react, and bit her lip softly. Her expression turned even more pitiful. Senior. I didn't. Good. Then pack your things and move out tomorrow. Eat. Qi Wenyang's frown deepened as he shot Yiqing a sideways look. Okay, Wenyao. In front of him, Yiqing instantly shifted from aggressive tigress to obedient kitten. Qi Wenyang lowered his lashes, a barely visible hint of amusement flickering across his dark eyes. Stuffed to the brim, Yiqing dropped her bowl and patted her round stomach. The food in this dogman's house is really good. Qi Wenyang glanced at her. Full? Shi watched their interaction, sadness flooding her expression. She forced a stiff smile. President Qi Sr., I'll take the dishes. What now? Playing the humble little maid to seduce Wenyao. Not happening. Leave them. Aunt Zheng will clean up. Qi Wenyang stood and headed upstairs. Yiqing nearly broke down inside. That's it? That's it? I wanted him to scold me a little, hug a thigh at least. Chi Wen-yong suddenly paused. He turned to Yiching. Such a bizarre desire, he'd never heard anything like it. Yiching, listen carefully. Shi stays here because I allow it, but if you can't stand it, get out. Dias for kicking Shi out. Impossible. A strange doubt surfaced in Chi Wen-yong's mind. Why was she trying so hard to push him toward Shi? A while later, Yiching walked out with a very sour expression. Aunt Xing, when Yaoi told you to prepare a late-night snack for Shi, send it over. Aunt Xing blinked in surprise. President Chi asked for that? Yes. Yiching kept her face cold, acting the part perfectly. Half an hour later, noises came from the hallway. Aunt Xing knocked on Shi's door. President Chi ordered a late-night snack for you. The moment Shi heard it was from Chi Wen-yong, joy lit up her face. Even her hands looked excited as she accepted the tray. When the door closed, Yiching cracked open her own door, peeked a few times, then retreated. The system instantly pulled up a task progress bar. 30 seconds later, the number stopped at 18. Yiching's mentality collapsed again. System, are you broken? The system responded calmly. Self-check complete. No errors detected. Chi Wen-yong's affection toward Shi. 11. Shi's affection toward Chi Wen-yong. 80. Clinging to her last strand of sanity, Yiching opened the affection history log. A floating panel appeared in the air. She stared dumbfounded. Back when she first transmigrated, Chi Wen-yong's affection for Shi was as high as 65. And ever since she started seriously doing her tasks, Chi Wen-yong's affection plummeted, down to a tragic 11. Yiching sucked in a cold breath. My empire. My entire empire is gone. She collapsed onto her bed, not even in the mood to play games. She barely slept last night and woke up late today. With panda eyes and a huge yawn, Yiching dragged herself out. Jiangye had already arrived. She'd been sitting in the living room for over an hour, too scared to go upstairs, and knocked at by 9 a.m. Everyone was silently waiting in the living room. Did you not sleep well last night? Chi Wen-yong frowned, his face as cold as always, but his words carried an unexpected hint of concern. That if you're feeling unwell anywhere, tell Aunt Sheng. You're too good to me. I knew you liked me. Inside, Yiching was spiraling into pure despair, but she forced herself to look thrilled, smiling bright and sweet. Jiangye hesitated, trying her best to be gentle. There are some unfavorable posts about you on Weibo. Yiching instantly pulled out her phone. The moment she opened Weibo, her eyes widened. Ching Yiching slaps Shi. Ching Yiching clings to Chi Wen-yong. Ching Yiching throws a diva tantrum. Ching Yiching exposed as a troublemaker. Shi and Chi Wen-yong relationship leaked. Yesterday's incident on set had taken over 5 hot searches. Several of them put Yiching right under the public guillotine. Yiching hurled her phone onto the floor and lunged straight at Shi, grabbing her by the neck. Was it you? It has to be you. The video, you only posted the one clip that made me look bad. Let go. Chi Wen-yong pulled Yiching's hand off Shi. Yiching burst into hurt tears. I'm being torn apart online, and you're still protecting her? Chi Wen-yong tried again to hear her thoughts, but nothing came through. Was she actually sad? A faint softness flickered in his eyes. He spoke gently. I'll handle this. I'll give you an answer. Ching Yiching was deep in her Oscar-winning performance mode when Chi Wen-yong spoke. She froze. What? I choked Shi for real, and he still didn't defend her. Right. This crazy woman herself is absolutely not trustworthy. Senior. I understand. Shi murmured, hollow and shaken. She looked at Chi Wen-yong, eyes full of sorrow. President Chi, thank you for taking me in these days, but I think it's better if I leave. With that, she turned toward the door. Here it is, the climax. Go chase her, stop her, confess passionately, Yiching directing a whole idol drama in her head. Chi Wen-yong actually strode forward and caught Shi's wrist before she could leave. Stay. I'll handle everything. Yiching's eyes instantly reddened, her voice soft and pitiful. What do you like about her? Chi Wen-yong turned toward her, resisting the urge to strangle this drama queen. He didn't think Shi was worthy of him. Wait, what the hell? Why am I thinking like her now? He didn't like Shi. Not even a little. Staying in a man's house would only provoke Yiching even more, so Shi wisely decided to leave. But Yiching kept fanning the flames. When she said she wants to leave. Just let her go. If Chi Wen-yong insisted on keeping Shi, the plot would explode again. Chi Wen-yong lifted a brow. He released Shi-yi's wrist. Since you insist on leaving, I won't stop you. A sharp pain stabbed through Shi-yi's heart. Her lips trembled, but in the end she only whispered, "Okay." She walked away quickly, sadness swallowing her whole. She couldn't read Chi Wen-yong at all. If he didn't love her, why give her such special care? If he did love her, why treat her like this? Iching stepped back, hiding the alertness in her eyes, smiling brightly. I knew it. Wen-yi, the one you love most is me. Yet Chi Wen-yong shot her a glance. Iching was thunderstruck, completely stunned. This damn man responded. He said he loves me. The system's cold voice chimed. Host, get a grip. The male lead cannot love you. I end the plot. The person he loves is the heroine. A bright smile lifted Iching's lips again. Wen-yo, when you said you loved me, was that real? No, Chi Wen-yong replied flatly and walked away. Scared the hell out of me. Thank God it was fake. Iching collapsed onto the sofa. Every time Chi Wen-yong stared at her, she felt like he could see straight through her soul. Meanwhile, Chi Wen-yong was reading her physical examination report. Everything was normal. No health issues at all. The second document was a mental health evaluation. Based on the symptoms he'd described, the doctor concluded she had a mental disorder. Chi Wen-yong knew her too well. A mental illness. Nonsense. As expected, he should have never hoped the doctors could provide anything helpful. They got into the car. Jiangya updated her. The Weibo mess came from someone leaking the photos on set. The company is handling emergency PR. Don't panic. Iching immediately hurled the laptop toward Jiangya. Her gaze sharpened dangerously. How do you people even work? Find out who did it. I want them to pay for this. In the original plot, Jiangya's face got hit and scarred from this moment onward for life. This time, Iching intentionally threw it off target. The system, as expected, had no ability to rewind or let her redo it. Iching opened the car door and added casually, "This has nothing to do with you. I wasn't aiming at you. Just do your job well." She stepped out of the van. After only a few steps, smack. An egg slammed into the right side of her forehead and burst open. Iching froze, staring wide-eyed in disbelief. Before she could react, people rushed in from all directions, each holding rotten eggs, all throwing straight at her. "Hit her. Hit that bitch. She thinks she's worthy of acting with my brother. Didn't she love slapping people? Let her taste it." Outnumbered, Iching couldn't dodge anything. She spun around and ran for the van. Jiangya shielded her as much as she could, blocking half of the attacks. Iching scrambled into the van, completely disheveled. Right before the door shut, several rotten eggs still flew inside. And even then, the dolled-up fangirls refused to stop. They circled the van, hurling egg after egg in a frenzy. Iching trembled with fury, teeth clenched tight. Drive. She was attacked by black fans, and Jiangya even took half the hits for her. As an apology, Iching wouldn't spare a single one of those people. After returning home and showering, she received a call from her agent. The girls have all been detained. Their parents refused to accept a 3-day detention. It's already trending, and a lot of people are laughing at you. You're a public figure. Don't escalate this, okay? Iching's expression darkened. I'll take the consequences. File a lawsuit. I want full legal accountability. Lying on the bed, she scrolled through the hot searches. She thought she could handle being the hated one. After all, it was just Iching's assigned persona. But now, she is Iching, and Iching is her. Who could act like nothing happened? By the time she reached the last post, she was so angry she nearly coughed blood. Why should she carry this burden? What right did those keyboard warriors have to insult her? The system warned her to put away her dangerous thoughts and not break the assigned character role. Iching had had enough. "Shut up," she snapped. Ever since she arrived, the plot hadn't followed the original path for even a single day. So what if she tried clearing her name? It couldn't possibly be more catastrophic than the male lead not loving the heroine. Right then, Chi Wen-yong called. He stayed silent for a long time before finally asking, "Are you okay?" Iching answered softly, "No." Chi Wen-yong wasn't good at comforting people. He only said, "I'll handle this." Iching replied, "Someone's already handling it." She hung up immediately afterward. Chi Wen-yong stared at the ended call, then said to Assistant Lu, "Check the backgrounds of those girls. Keep an eye on this. He fell into deep thought. The old Qing Yiqing would cry hysterically over the smallest grievance. But now, even after something this huge, she was focused, defensive of her rights and not falling apart. He really wasn't the same anymore. The next morning she was gaming. Not bad, little noob. I have a name. Little noob suits your vibe better. I'm not a noob. Beat me in a match first. Then talk. She then asked, do I have scenes to shoot today? Jiangye shot up immediately. Yiqingjia, I already requested leave for you. Please don't go. Requested leave. So I do have scenes. Of course I'm going. Why should I hide? At that moment, Q had already gone offline, but still made sure to message Yiqing. Gotta go, something came up. Little noob ran fast. Hearing they were heading to the set, Qi Wenyang let out an awkward, unnatural smile. The moment reporters spotted Yiqing, they swarmed her. What's your mood right now? How does Li Yi feel about the situation? Accusations and questions wrapped around her like a net. Without the bodyguards, they probably would have rushed in and torn her apart. Jiangye hurried over and panicked. Yiqingjia, are you okay? Yiqing answered calmly, I'm fine. When Li Yi heard she'd come to the set, he rushed over, flustered and apologetic. This whole thing is my fault. I wanted to post a statement supporting you, but my agent stopped me. He took my phone and cut off all my communication. Yiqing's reply was cold and distant. I know. This isn't your fault. Suddenly, Li Yi was dragged away by his agent. In the makeup room, Yiqing received a call. Miss Yiqing, we've investigated those girls' backgrounds. The details are in your email. Also, we found evidence that someone deliberately targeted you. They hired a large number of paid trolls to smear you. Yiqing frowned tightly. Okay, I understand. She hung up. Jiangye spoke with absolute certainty. It must be Zheng Ziming. That man is extreme. For the sake of his artist's exposure, he'll do anything. Right or wrong doesn't matter to him. She glanced at the supposedly sleeping Shi on the sofa. None of them noticed. Curled up on the couch, Shi's lashes trembled. She was clearly awake. Yiqing said calmly, without solid evidence, don't jump to conclusions. She opened her email and saw the profiles of those girls who attacked her. All of them had school bullying records. Yiqing's chest rose and fell violently. Forcing the anger down, she said, Jiangye, call my agent. Tell her to come to the set. A knock sounded from outside the dressing room. Qi Wenyang had arrived. According to the original plot, this was the part where he'd see Shi suffering, feel heartbroken, and their relationship would deepen. Instead, he grabbed her hand. Come with me. Yiqing struggled hard. What do you want? I'm not going. Qi Wenyang raised a brow. The smear campaign against you online. You're sure you don't want to hear about it? He brought her to his car and handed her a document. I've already arranged for their school bullying records to be released online, he said. And the marketing accounts for clearing your name are in 10 minutes. Check the trending page. Yiqing gave a simple thanks. But inside she thought, I already knew and was planning to do the same. I'm more curious about whether the hired trolls were Li Yi's doing. Qi Wenyang's expression darkened instantly. She cared that much about Li Yi? Back on set, Yiqing checked Weibo. The trending topics had switched to Xiangnan #1 high school bullying exposed Qing Yiqing slandered without reason. The comments were chaotic, but the wind was turning. Jiangye was ecstatic, clutching Yiqing's hand. Yiqingjia, we finally won this round. Right at that moment, Li Yi sent her a message. I posted a statement. When the heroine was caught in a scandal, that man clearly knew the truth yet said nothing. But once everything settled, then he stepped out to clarify. Because of that, Yiqing developed a resistance toward him. Jiangye asked, Yiqingjia, did you forgive him? Forgive? Not really. I'm just not used to being friends with someone who only thinks for himself. That night, Yiqing sat inside Qi Wenyang's car. How was work today? Did you miss me? I thought about you all day. And then he heard her inner voice. Die, will you? Always pulling that long face. Who'd miss you? Qi Wenyang's expression didn't even twitch. At that moment, Yiqing spotted Shi, looking thin and exhausted. She suddenly panicked. Qi Wenyang stopped the car, but her inner voice said, faster. If we don't go back now, Shi's really going to be in trouble. Only then did he break. Yiqing grabbed his hand and sprinted forward. Qi Wenyang stared at her. Shi's really in danger. She arranged this, and wants me to swoop in like a hero? Is she insane? When they reached the scene, Yiching shoved him straight ahead and hid herself behind a corner. The thug sneered, "Since you won a medal, don't blame me for being rough." Qi Wenyang turned to tell her to hide, but she was already gone. From the shadows, Yiching even whispered, "Come on, you got this." 20 minutes later, the police hauled the thug away. Shi stepped forward worriedly. "President Qi, are you okay?" Qi Wenyang ignored her completely. Instead, he walked straight toward Qing Yiching, and once again heard her inner voice. "This damn man always acts so high and mighty, but with that bandage on he actually looks kinda good. What's with him? Did he remember I shoved him out there and now wants payback? Or did my acting slip and I didn't look worried enough?" Right then, Qi Wenyang raised his hand. Yiching suddenly felt a stab of fear. When she opened her eyes again, he had her pinned against the wall. And he heard it again, her inner voice. "Seduction. Using your face as a weapon. So unfair." He chuckled. "She actually complimented me." Yiching shoved him away hard. "Qi Wenyang belongs to Shi. They're the perfect couple. What are you doing messing things up?" The big man was confused. Why does she keep pushing him and Shi together? Qi Wenyang turned to Shi. "Why were you in that alley?" Shi looked pitiful. "Why mom took all my money. I don't have any new jobs. I can only stay in a 50-won motel. Otherwise," she sneaked a glance at Yiching. "I don't know why they followed me. I was already being very careful." Yiching frowned. Why did that glance look like she was blaming her? Is this still the so-called pure white lotus? Qi Wenyang didn't even look at Yiching, explaining directly. "You live in a place like that, full of shady people, that it's normal for creeps to follow you." Warning. Plot deviation detected. Host must correct the storyline. Qing Yiching's expression shifted. She almost forgot this part. Qi Wenyang was supposed to suspect her, yet he cleared her name outright. Now what? Hearing her inner voice, Qi Wenyang frowned. "So even not doubting her is wrong." And just like that, Shi smoothly moved back into the Qi residence. Yiching sighed. The damn man finally did something useful. She reopened Shi's character profile. Something still felt off. The system checked the mission progress. Fortunately, there was a tiny increase. Qi Wenyang's favorability toward Shi, 10%, Shi's favorability toward Qi Wenyang, 91%. So the male lead still doesn't like the female lead at all. How is the plot supposed to function? Forget it. Let the world burn. I'm playing games. Yiching saw little rookie come online and sent a message. Time to deal with this little chicken. She sent a team-up request. She never expected little rookie to be Qi Wenyang. Another day on set, it was a scene where Yiching had to slap Shi again. Smack. Shi fell straight into the water. A man's voice suddenly shouted, "Cut." Yiching glanced over. Who said that? Male lead number 2 Meng Xiao entered the scene. Founder of a fashion magazine, Golden Bachelor, and had recently rekindled his childhood sweetheart bond with Shi. He took off his coat, draped it over Shi, and snapped at director Chow. A slap can be faked. Why the hell did she have to hit for real? Who arranged this? We're changing this scene. We're not filming it like this. Some people might take the chance to settle personal grudges. Yiching snorted. What do you mean by that? You're exactly like your character, Shi's ultimate bootlicker. Anytime she's involved, your IQ and EQ hit 0. She turned to Shi. Shi, you sure move fast. Already hooked another guy? Meng Xiao burst out. Don't think I won't hit a woman. Shi hurriedly grabbed him. I'm not feeling well. Can you take me to the hospital? Meng Xiao picked Shi up and rushed her to the hospital, and everyone on set watched. They definitely had something going on. Shi loved Qi Wenyang yet strung Meng Xiao along with the siblings' bond. And this plot was peak green tea behavior. Jiang Ye suddenly said behind her, I really envy Shi, so many men like her, even President Qi likes her. Who do you think she actually likes? Qing Yiching frowned at her, thinking that this woman's setting was supposed to like Qi Wenyang. So why is she upset? After that, they went to the Hilton Hotel. The banquet later was Meng Xiao's way of declaring territory, inviting Qi Wenyang for Shi. And as the resident tool, Yiching came uninvited to escalate the conflict. She even had to insult Shi right in front of Meng Xiao and asked if she would get hit, but the system said not to worry because everyone here was civilized. Qing Yiching pushed the door open and decided to trust the system one more time. Seeing her, Meng Xiao asked, Why are you here? Qing Yiching impatiently removed her glasses and said sharply, Mr. Meng, Shi has been living in the marital home of me and Wenyang, So if you're thanking him, how could you leave me out? Qi Wenyang's face darkened as he said, that house has nothing to do with you. Shi stays because I invited her, and you only stayed because you refused to leave. He hadn't meant to say any of that, yet the moment he opened his mouth the words flowed out naturally. Qing Yiqing stepped closer to him and asked with a wounded tone, Wenyao, how could you say that about me? Meng Xiao let out a cold laugh, his face full of contempt. So that thick skin of yours is a long-time habit, pathetic. She still held herself back, but Qi Wenyao didn't. His eyes sharpened as he shot back, her business isn't something you get to judge. The tension between the two men kept rising. Qing Yiqing stared in shock. What was happening? Why were male lead number 1 and male lead number 2 suddenly facing off? Shi quickly grabbed Meng Xiao's arm. Brother, stop. Senior sister, she's still a guest. Qing Yiqing walked step by step toward Shi, her tone turning vicious. Oh, now you're acting all gentle and kind. When you were seducing Wenyao, didn't you also use that fake pure white lotus face? Meng Xiao snapped the moment he heard that. Smack, he slapped Qing Yiqing across the face without hesitation. Tears welled instantly in Qing Yiqing's eyes. You hit me? The system said no one would get hurt. What is this? But then, to her shock, she saw Qi Wenyao raise his hand and slap Meng Xiao right back. Was he standing up for her? The system suddenly chimed. Severe plot deviation detected. Host, please correct the storyline immediately. Qing Yiqing sighed in frustration. Correct what? At this point I might as well go back and get slapped again. Shi shouted in panic. President Qi. Brother. Stop fighting. Right then they saw Shi collapse to the floor without warning. Meng Xiao rushed over and caught her, while Qing Yiqing grabbed Qi Wenyao's hand, begging him to stop. Qi Wenyao froze immediately. Yiqing blinked. Why did he listen to her that quickly? Then she snapped, wait, shouldn't you be checking on Shi first? They headed to the hospital. Shi, lying on the bed, asked gently, President Qi, is your injury okay? Her eyes, however, were fixed on Qing Yiqing holding onto his arm. Qing Yiqing fired back sarcastically, holding Meng Xiao's arm while staring at Wenyao. Shi, do you still have any shame left? Meng Xiao roared. Qing Yiqing, shut your mouth. The moment people heard the name Qing Yiqing, every head turned toward them. In an instant, a wave of fans rushed over and surrounded her. Yiqing smiled politely. I'm sorry, everyone. For those who want autographs or photos, I'll cooperate, but please don't make noise in the hospital hallway, okay? She turned toward a nearby nurse, apologizing softly. Sorry for the trouble. Could we borrow an empty office for a bit? I'll sign for them and leave right away. I'll keep the impact as minimal as possible. They moved to an empty office to take photos with the fans. Qi Wenyao stood to the side, watching her quietly. For the first time he felt, this version of her was bright, warm, genuine. After everything was done, Qing Yiqing smiled in satisfaction and the fans left happily. But right then the system popped up again. Host, your actions are stealing the heroine's spotlight. High risk of major plot deviation. Yiqing rolled her eyes. People like me. I'm just responding to their affection. What's wrong with that? They don't like you, they like Qing Yiqing. She scoffed internally. The original Qing Yiqing had no fans at all. They love the current Qing Yiqing, me. Qi Wenyao heard every word inside her mind, leaving him confused. The original Qing Yiqing. The current Qing Yiqing. What does that even mean? Who exactly is she? Meanwhile he kept pulling her by the hand. She finally snapped, you're hurting me. Qi Wenyao froze, instantly letting go, sounding guilty. Sorry, I just noticed a few white hairs on you. Before she could react, he grabbed a strand of her hair and yanked it out. Yiqing screamed in pain. But the hair he pulled out was black. She nearly flipped the whole table. Are you insane? That's a black hair. A whole bunch of black hair. Qi Wenyao calmly replied that he must have misseen it. Qi Wenyao knew one thing for sure. He couldn't ask her about any of this. She would never tell him the truth. And right now, he absolutely couldn't let her know he could hear her thoughts. That night, in the Qi family study, Qi Wenyao examined a DNA report on Qing Yiqing. The results were clear. She hadn't been switched at birth. But then, what was that inner voice he heard? The original and the current Qing Yiqing. Was he just overthinking it? Ever since childhood he had always disliked her. Maybe he never really looked at her closely. Still, a part of him insisted, maybe nothing had truly changed. The next day on set, the video of their argument in the hospital hit the trending list. Two men fighting over one woman, thick-skinned actress Ching Yiching, the boldest in history. The comments section was ruthless. Rumors resurfaced of Yiching chasing after Qi Wenyao. One was the founder of a top fashion magazine, the other the CEO of Xingyu Entertainment. Yi was praised like some heroine who saved the galaxy, while Yiching was painted as the villain. The clip was obviously maliciously edited, yet people still jumped to defend Yi and tear Yiching down. When Ching Yiching read the comments, she was genuinely surprised. There were actually people defending her. She sneered inwardly. That fake woman doesn't deserve Wenyao at all. I'm the one with the engagement. Yi is the intruder. And right at that moment, Yi showed up on set, perfect timing, and walked straight into Yiching's line of sight. Seeing the culprit, Yiching's anger finally exploded. She charged over, shouting, "Bitch! You did this. It has to be you." At the last moment, Qi Wenyao rushed over, grabbed Yiching's wrist and frowned deeply. "What are you doing?" Yiching muttered, "I'm suffering because of her. And you're still protecting her." She violently shook off his hand, her voice breaking. "I hate you, Wenyao. I hate you." After yelling that, she spun around and ran off. Wenyao tried to chase her, but suddenly, for some unknown reason, he couldn't move. Yi was crying so hard she could barely breathe, overwhelmed by grief, until she suddenly fainted right in front of Qi Wenyao. Out of nowhere, a voice urged him urgently, "Hold her, catch her, now." Almost against his will, Qi Wenyao caught her. Seeing her pale and unconscious in his arms, his brows tightened as if steadying himself required every last bit of strength. He immediately handed her to a nearby staff member. "Take her to the hospital." Confusion gnawed at him. What was that voice? Why did it keep tying him and Yi together? He didn't want that, so he turned and sprinted toward the direction where Ching Yiching had disappeared. In a private room at a bar, the bartender lined up almost 10 bottles in front of Yiching. "Miss, please enjoy." Yiching's face was filled with gloom. Her mood hit rock bottom. She let out a dramatic wail and collapsed onto the sofa. "System, do I really have to drink all this?" "Host must strictly follow the plot arrangement," the system replied coldly. Meanwhile, Qi Wenyao was panicking. She wasn't at the old house and she wasn't picking up her phone. Where could she be? At that moment, Yiching intentionally misdialed him. "Jiangya, come pick me up. I'm at Majesty Bar. I feel awful. I think I'm gonna puke." Qi Wenyao instantly changed directions and sped straight toward the bar. Yiching leaned against the sofa, holding her throbbing head. "Jiangya, why aren't you here yet? I feel terrible." Qi Wenyao rushed into the bar, pushed open the private room door, and froze completely at the sight in front of him. Qi Wenyao swallowed his anger and bent down to help her up. "Who told you to drink?" Yiching opened her eyes, cheeks flushed, slurring, "Jiangya, you're so fast. You came already? Jiangya, go back to the Qi villa. I need to find Qi Wenyao." As she tried to stand, stumbling all over the place, Qi Wenyao quickly took off his suit jacket and covered her head with it. There were too many people in the bar. If anyone recognized her, famous actress getting drunk in a bar would explode online again. He brought her to the car. Yiching grew even more restless, yanking off the jacket and whining, "It's hot." Qi Wenyao glanced sideways at her, and for some reason, this foolish woman looked ridiculously cute. They stared straight at each other. Suddenly, Yiching threw herself at him, holding his arm. "You're so handsome that I like you." Qi Wenyao raised a brow, an odd light flickering in his eyes. "You like me?" Yiching nodded hard, explaining seriously, "I like handsome guys. As long as they're good looking, I like them." His face darkened instantly. He shook off her hand, annoyed. "Get off." After arriving at the Qi residence, he placed her on the bed. Drunk Yiching was like a different person, cute, weird, unpredictable. He acted disgusted on the surface, but he tolerated every bit of her nonsense. Yiching finally recognized him and shot upright. "I was wrong. Please forgive me." Qi Wenyao's mouth twitched. "So you do recognize me." Tears rolled down her cheeks as she whimpered, "You're the person I love the most. Even if you turned to ashes, I'd still recognize you." "How could I ever not recognize you? Oh, I really messed up. Please don't be this cold to me." Yiching was crying so hard she could barely breathe. She grabbed his hand and suddenly leaned in, kissing him. Yiching froze. What the hell? Isn't he supposed to dodge? My 20-something-year-old first kiss. Gone just like that. The next morning she woke up in shock. Wait, what is happening? Don't tell me Chi Wenyao likes me? System, stop pretending you're dead. Come out. System. The male lead is coded to love the heroine. Even lightning striking 10 times won't change that. Please do not question the structural integrity of the novel world. Iching sighed. Fine, that I'll just play games. She sent QA message. Your sister almost died yesterday. I drank too much. You better not learn bad habits. Don't drink, or you'll get bitten by dogs. Q saw the message and instantly logged off. Iching screamed, "Ah!" She threw her phone aside. What is happening? I wake up and everything's wrong. Chi Wenyao asked Shuri, why are you here? Shuri froze. They stared at each other in heavy silence. Just as Chi Wenyao was about to leave, Shuri grabbed his hand. Wenyao, do you really not like me? Chi Wenyao rejected her instantly. I don't. While they stood in tense silence, the doorbell rang. Xia Jixiang arrived, her calculating face filling the doorway. She barged inside, acting like a full-blown shrew, glaring at Shuri. Driving luxury cars, living in villas. This is what you call being poor. Shuri's face collapsed into despair. She screamed, Mom, why are you here? Xia Jixiang jabbed a finger at Chi Wenyao. Oh, you're the CEO who's been keeping Shuri. The system chimed. Host Ching Yiching, wake up. Xia Jixiang has arrived. The moment the words dropped, Yiching shot up from bed like she'd been electrocuted. To save herself, Xia Jixiang actually demanded 1 million yuan from Chi Wenyao. Shuri panicked instantly. Mom, stop it. I'll give you the money, okay? I'm sorry, Wenyao. I'll take my mom away right now. Chi Wenyao's face was blank. Leave. If you don't, I'm calling the police. At that moment, Ching Yiching arrived. These kinds of low-class people aren't worth paying attention to. But then Chi Wenyao suddenly heard her inner voice. President Chi, great ancestor Chi, please, just give it to her. Shuri is going to cry herself to death. He froze and turned to look at her, completely puzzled. Shuri's entire body trembled. Wenyao, don't call the police. I'll take my mom away. Chi Wenyao let out a long, helpless sigh. QR code. He lifted his phone and scanned it. Ding, Alipay. 1,000,000 yuan received. Xia Jixiang instantly plastered on a flattering smile. Chi Wenyao glanced at Yiching again. He still didn't understand her thoughts. But he still wanted to protect her. He couldn't stand the idea of her feeling upset or losing control. He must be losing his mind. Meanwhile, Yiching kept up a sad expression on the surface, while internally celebrating with fireworks. Shuri whispered gratefully, thank you. No matter what, he had solved a huge mess for her. She felt certain he must care about her even just a little. But suddenly, Xia Jixiang exploded at Ching Yiching. I'm asking my future son-in-law for money. What's it got to do with you? If you hadn't meddled, those two would have been married already. Who the hell do you think you are? Shuri, meanwhile, hid a quiet smirk. Chi Wenyao's expression darkened instantly. He made a call. Security. Someone has trespassed into my home. Xia Jixiang roared, I am your future mother-in-law. And you treat me like this. Chi Wenyao glanced at her coldly. Worthy? When Shuri heard you. Worthy? Her face instantly darkened. No, this isn't right. Wasn't Chi Wenyao supposed to like her? He cared for her, let her stay at his place, treated her gently. This wasn't how things were meant to go. Suddenly, Shuri collapsed again. Xia Jixiang lunged toward her, shaking her wildly. Don't scare your mother. At the rate she was shaking, any healthy person would end up concussed. The security guards rushed in and pulled her away from both sides. The ambulance arrived shortly after and carried Shuri away. At that moment, Chi Wenyao heard Shuri's inner voice again. Forget caring for me. I'm lying here unconscious and he doesn't even look at me. He paused, turning a different, unreadable gaze toward Ching Yiching. Yiching panicked. Well, I'm going to the set first. The next day on set, Yiching checked the mutual affection stats. Chi Wenyao Shuri. 6 Shuri Chi Wenyao. 100. Yiching's head throbbed. So the male lead's love for the female lead was basically I just learned she exists. She felt like a bystander watching someone else's drama unfold. Li called out, Yiching, snapping her back from her thoughts. You don't look well today. Did something happen? He handed her a bottle of water. Yiching didn't take it. I don't like being used. You understand me, right? Li Yi froze, suddenly flustered. Iching, I never intended to use you. She casually pointed toward Jing Ziming. He sent you here. You really don't know his motive? Her tone chilled. Go tell your agent clearly. If he tries any of those dirty tricks he used before on me, I swear I'll go full sumo and peel a layer of skin off him. Li Yi looked visibly hurt, his pupils trembling. Iching, I've already told him all that I really never wanted to hurt you. I'll go now. When Qing Yiqing first met Li Yi, she thought he was even more handsome than on TV. Gentle, polite, refined. But after spending more time with him, she realized it was all an act. The real Li Yi was timid, weak, and willing to be a puppet just for fame. Yiqing let out a barely audible sigh and said before walking away, "Is this life really what you want?" Li Yi froze, his whole body stiffening. The company assigned Yiqing a new agent, Ruan Wenfan. Back in school, Ruan Wenfan was wildly successful. But she offended a director during her debut film after graduation, vanished from the industry, and reappeared years later as a celebrity manager. About half an hour later, a woman ran back breathlessly. Yiqingjia, I'm sorry. Something happened on Li Yi's side. You won't be able to film your scenes with him today. Apparently, Li Yi and his agent were having a huge fight. Yiqing frowned. Lie and Jing Ziming. Could it be because of what she told him earlier? For years, Li Yi clearly had talent, yet his agent destroyed his public image. Better to stay cautious and keep some distance from him. Ruan Wenfan handed Yiqing a stack of variety show proposals. Your image has changed a lot recently. You should seize the moment. Appear more, stay hot. Survival OMG Youth Song Go. Go. Escape Room Challenge. A homebody like her, doing survival in the wild. Impossible. Yiqing looked at the list, cheeks flushing. She liked singing, sure, but going on stage without training would make her look like she was terrible at everything. Then her eyes landed on one show. I am an actor. She immediately made her choice. Acting would be the safest, most reliable first step to build her reputation. Ruan Wenfan nodded. Rumors said Qing Yiqing had terrible personality and terrible EQ, but decent acting skills. But looking at her now, she didn't seem like the person the rumors described. Just as they were heading home, Yiqing received a text from Li Yi. Yiqing, I'm at the Grand Court Club. Can you pick me up? A second message followed. I'm in room 1587. Jing Ziming is watching me. I can't get away. Please. Yiqing called him, but the call wouldn't go through. She had no choice but to tell Uncle Wang to change the route to the Grand Court Club. At the entrance, Yiqing put on her sunglasses and mask. She walked toward the door with Jiangya, but the security guard stopped them. Miss, please present your membership card. Yiqing asked, and what do you need to become a member? Jiangya nervously tugged at Yiqing's sleeve. The guard hesitated but finally said, a deposit of 10 million. Then you can become a member. Yiqing didn't even blink. She took out a bank card and handed it over. Open a membership. Right then, Qi Wenyao appeared, handing over his own card. Use mine. This place belongs to my family. Yiqing turned and stared at him. So this damn man owns it. 10 million just to become a member. Why not straight up rob people? Qi Wenyao heard her inner voice and was speechless. She said anxiously, Wenyao, I'm running late. I'll go first. Then she rushed inside. Qi Wenyao looked at the guard. Send someone to follow her. Anything she needs, give it to her. Room 1587's door was tightly shut. Qing Yiqing walked straight in and pulled a recorder out of her pocket. She then removed the sparkling brooch on her chest and said kindly, this is a micro camera. She tilted her head and added, oh, and guess how many more recorders and cameras I have on me. The room fell silent instantly. Yiqing looked at the man who was forcing drinks on Li Yi. Her lips curled into a chilling smile. President Wu, you're the big shot here. Don't block the way that I came today for only one thing, to take him away. Jing Ziming glared fiercely at Li Yi. What are you standing there for? Get out. Li Yi scrambled to his feet and rushed to Yiqing's side. Just before they stepped out, Jing Ziming called after her. You'd better understand, if tonight's matter leaks, Li Yi will never stay clean. Yiqing turned back, eyes curved in a smiling arc, of course. Then she strode out with Li Yi in TOW. Li hadn't expected she would really come. Why? His background was messy and tragic. As a teenager, he won first place in the National Math Olympics. His parents rushed over from the neighboring city to celebrate, but had a car accident. His father died on the spot. His mother became a vegetable and never woke again. Even after exhausting every cent of their savings, even knowing she couldn't speak again, he still couldn't let her go. So as long as he could get money, whatever Zhang Ziming told him to do, he did it. But tonight was different. He thought, if Qing Yiqing comes to save me, maybe I can finally leave all this behind and take another path. That was why Li Yi thanked her so deeply. Yiqing, however, never expected he carried such a heavy past. Qing Yiqing scrunched her nose and started teasing him. If you really want to thank me, remember to return my brooch. Li Yi finally laughed. That thing wasn't even a real camera. You were bluffing them. Yiqing replied casually, they're probably cursing me out right now. But compared to yelling at me, Zhang Ziming is definitely going to treat you much worse. Li Yi said quietly, I'm going to terminate my contract with him. I end the car. Yiqing raised a fist toward him in a little cheering gesture. Back at the house, Qi Wenyao heard movement in the living room and said only one line. Where did you go? But from that one sentence, Yiqing inexplicably sensed a chill. She turned her head slightly. Is this man interrogating me? Where I go? What does it have to do with you? She quietly prepared to slip away. Qi Wenyao closed the distance in a few long strides, stepping right up to her. With Li Yi. Where did you go? Welcome, everyone, to the recording of I Am an Actor. The host's voice boomed across the stage. We've already evaluated each actor's market rating. Next, the actors will enter in order of their rating, choose their roles, and rehearse with their partners for 3 days. Casting is crucial for every one of you. Please make your choices carefully, based on your own situation. In the waiting room, Yiqing quickly skimmed through her contract, then noticed Jiang Ye furiously stabbing at her phone, face dark with anger. What's wrong? Yiqing asked. Jiang Ye answered firmly, anti-black campaign. I'm defending my idol. On the screen were a string of trending tags. Hashtag Li Su Xinghai Entertainment, hashtag Li terminates contract, hashtag Li backstabbing white-eyed wolf. Jiang Ye accepted the contract and added, Sister Wan said, even if you only appear for 1 episode and get eliminated, this show is still a great opportunity for you. Jiang Ye immediately tensed up. She suddenly realized, how could someone as proud as Yiqing ever accept being just a rotating background piece? Soon, Qing Yiqing signed her name on the contract. For a third-tier actress who had offended almost every variety show director in the industry, signing for just 1 episode wasn't surprising. After all, in these competition shows, the script is controlled by directors and capital. Unless you're overwhelmingly strong, you can only follow the rules of the market. So why couldn't she be the one strong enough to break those rules? Next, Yiqing went to receive her assigned role. What she got was the role of a mother who went mentally unstable after losing her child. Messy, neglected, and written as a 40-year-old woman. Later, Yiqing entered the rehearsal studio. Wu Chong forced out a stiff smile. Hello. The two exchanged a brief, polite handshake, nothing more.